The heels are coming off the stilettos of the transgender lobby, which now finds itself hobbling in ways that were unpredicted even 6 months ago. Last month, a former case manager at the Washington University Transgender Center at the St. Louis Children's Hospital in Missouri wrote to the state's Attorney General, blowing the whistle on the clinic's alleged abuse of children. She said, quote, "I have decided to come forward to report serious concerns I have about the medical care being provided by the centre causing harm to patients and their families. This includes the rapid medicalisation of children, poor assessment of mental health concerns prior to provision of gender-altering treatment, medicalisation of children without prior and adequate therapeutic treatment, lack of appropriate informed written consent of parents and youth, and actual, permanent and irreversible harm and injury caused by the medical treatment provided at the centre." The woman who made those allegations, Jamie Reed, describes herself as progressive, which must be right because you would have to be a woke warrior to work at a place like that. The Attorney General, Andrew Bailey, is a Republican, but that didn't bother Reed. She said, quote, "The safety of children should not be a matter for our culture wars." Andrew Bailey responded by launching an investigation to, quote, "make sure children are not harmed by individuals who may be more concerned with a radical social agenda than the health of children." We could probably use something like that investigation here. The Tavistock Clinic in London is also in trouble, and after 34 years of operation is now being shut down. A report last year found that Tavistock staff were pressured to adopt a, quote, "affirmative and unquestioning approach," unquote, to children and young people reporting feelings of gender dysphoria. The effects of the puberty blockers they were prescribed, we are now learning, were not as benign as they sound, as my next guest will explain in a minute. Far from the blockers giving kids time to reconsider their true identity, they almost always led to the next stage, which was cross-sex hormones, testosterone for girls and estrogen for boys, the effects of which are also irreversible and, along with the mastectomies and various other surgical operations on genitals, often profoundly regretted. A class action lawsuit is being launched against Tavistock. The law firm behind it says, quote, Some children and young people have been prescribed hormonal treatments before it was established that this was the appropriate treatment for them. And studies suggest that a number of children who attended the clinic later regretted the decision and subsequently wished to detransition. Well, no wonder those staff who collaborated in all this are now claiming they were pressured to do so. They may yet find themselves named as defendants. One of the world's most prominent transgender proponents has also suddenly discovered a more prudent wardrobe than the one he is most famously associated with. In June last year, Sam Brinton proudly proclaimed himself to be the first openly gender-fluid leader in the United States government. Officially, his job was to oversee the disposal of nuclear waste, but unofficially, he was one of the shiniest symbols of the unrestrained wokeness of the Biden administration. Well, not anymore. His employment was terminated in December, and last week he faced court in Minnesota charged with stealing women's luggage from airports, for which he could serve 5 years in jail. After months of pretentiously and provocatively parading around in women's dresses, Brinton fronted court in a conventionally cut men's suit.